Hey there! Get ready for an exciting journey as we dive into Coro's cybersecurity platform. I'm going to show you all the fantastic modules and how they seamlessly come together to provide an easy-to-use and budget-friendly cybersecurity solution for small to mid-sized businesses. Coro gives peace of mind to small and mid-sized businesses who feel overwhelmed by cybersecurity complexity. Traditionally, creating a cybersecurity system required purchasing various tools from different providers, training staff for each, and managing multiple interfaces and agents. Unlike traditional patchwork solutions, Coro is an easy-to-use, all-in-one product that offloads workload from humans to machines by automatically remediating over 92% of threats, making cybersecurity easy. Coro offers a single platform with multiple modules, providing comprehensive protection through a single intuitive interface that any IT team will master without needing cybersecurity training or specialist resources. Let's explore the platform to see it in action. When logging into the Coro platform, you are presented with the Actionboard. This provides a central hub for monitoring your security posture, actionable alerts, and insights across all activated modules. At the very top of the screen, you'll find the total number of open tickets which require your attention, the auto-resolved tickets the system managed and closed by itself for your review, the number of protected users and protected devices. Right below, you'll find a summary of all open tickets divided by module, highlighting the most important issues that need your attention. This saves you time by eliminating the need to search for urgent items or identify system weaknesses through the platform on your own. A concise summary is available as soon as you enter your action board, helping you quickly understand what requires immediate focus. If we scroll down, on the right-hand side of the interface, you'll see a view of your module's subscription. Each module addresses specific areas of cybersecurity, allowing you to activate what you need to fill any gaps. Coro's modules fall into two primary categories: API-based modules and agent-based modules. Let's start with the API-based modules. These connect directly to your cloud environments, like Microsoft 365 or Google Workspace, through secure APIs. They include cloud security, email security, user data governance, and the inbound gateway email proxy configuration add-on. Let's start with cloud security first, since, honestly, it's kind of the heart of Coro. Why? Because cloud security is what feeds into other key areas like email security and user data governance. It all starts here. So what exactly is cloud security? It's Coro's way of using an API connection to securely link into your Microsoft 365, Google Workspace, or even other applications so we can monitor activity happening inside your tenant. Once connected, Coro starts watching for important signals like who's logging in and are they doing it from the right locations? Are there access attempts from strange IPs? Is malware hiding out in shared folders like SharePoint or OneDrive? Are there brute force attempts where someone's trying to guess login credentials? We even include behavioral analytics. If a user starts downloading or deleting a ton of files out of nowhere or something just doesn't seem normal, we flag it. We track what's being accessed, by whom, and in what volume. So even just at the cloud security level, you're getting a lot of visibility and control. And once you've connected your cloud tenant, that opens the door to other powerful modules that pair right along with it, like email security and user data governance, which we'll talk about next. Now let's talk about email security, because let's be honest, email is still one of the biggest attack surfaces out there. Since most organizations use Google Workspace or Microsoft 365 and email is baked into those platforms, it makes sense that Coro monitors it too, right through the same API connection we use for cloud security. Once your cloud tenant is connected, Coro automatically starts scanning your email environment for all kinds of threats. We're talking phishing attempts and all the flavors of phishing, suspicious links or attachments, user impersonation or domain spoofing, where someone's trying to make their email look like it's coming from a trusted source. And of course, spam, which might not be malicious, but it's definitely annoying. The system can flag threats automatically, and your users can also report suspicious messages directly from their inbox, helping your organization stay proactive, not just reactive. So yeah, email security lives inside the cloud tenant, but it's doing a whole lot behind the scenes to keep your communications safe. And since we've talked about cloud and email security, let's keep going, because the next piece, user data governance, is another layer that ties right into your connected cloud users. Alright, so we've talked about cloud security and email security, but there's another key layer that fits right into the picture: user data governance. This module gives you visibility into how your users handle sensitive or regulated data within your cloud tenant, whether that's through sending emails or sharing files from platforms like OneDrive or SharePoint. Once your cloud environment is connected, Coro starts scanning for all kinds of regulated and sensitive data types, things like health information, financial or credit card data, and personal non-public data. And here's where it gets even more useful. You can also customize it to fit your own business needs. So this is the one time I'm going to jump into the control panel just for a second so you can see it. From there, you can define custom keywords or phrases that matter to your organization. For example, if you want to track anything labeled confidential, you can set that up. Anytime someone sends an email or shares a document containing that word, Coro will create a ticket so your admin team can take a closer look. And it's not just limited to keywords. You can flag things like passwords, certificates, source code, specific file types being sent or shared. So whether you're staying compliant with industry regulations or enforcing internal data policies, user data governance gives you powerful, customizable controls to keep your data secure and your team informed. All right, I'm going to head back to the action board now, but I wanted to pause for a moment to highlight how user data governance can really help protect your business by giving you clear visibility into the data your users are handling. Now, let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture, because really, Coro's protection comes from two sides. Everything we've talked about so far, cloud security, email security, and user data governance, is tied directly to your connected cloud tenant, like Microsoft 365 or Google Workspace. That's one side of the house. But the other half of the story is just as important, the devices themselves. Because let's face it, it's not just about your users and their cloud apps. It's also about the laptops and desktops they're working on every day. If one of those gets lost, stolen, or compromised, it could put your entire environment at risk. That's where Coro's Endpoint Protection comes in. We offer a lightweight agent that you can install across your devices, and once it's on there, it goes to work. Not just scanning for malware, but doing things a little differently than traditional systems. Yes, we absolutely run next-generation antivirus to catch infected processes, malware, viruses, and other threats. But we also go deeper, focusing on something called device posture. That means we're checking key system settings to make sure the device is locked down properly. For example, on Windows devices, we're looking at things like, is user account control turned on? Is VSS backup protection enabled? Is developer mode disabled to prevent elevated permissions? On Macs, we're checking that Gatekeeper, File Vault, and System Integrity Protection, SIP, are active and haven't been tampered with. And across all operating systems, we look at things like, is the drive encrypted? Is there a password in place? Is the native OS firewall enabled? Now, I know that last one sounds a little old school, because of course everyone uses passwords, right? But you'd be surprised how often small businesses forget to set them up. And that opens the door to all kinds of problems. So Coro keeps an eye on those simple but critical protections, and if anything's out of place, you get a ticket, so you can jump in and fix it fast. This kind of proactive visibility into device health is just another way Coro helps you stay ahead of threats and make sure no weak links are hiding in your environment. Alright, so just like how cloud security is paired with email and user data governance, endpoint security has a couple of companion modules too. One of the key ones is Endpoint Data Governance. Now, this one might sound similar to what we covered earlier with user data governance, but it actually serves a different purpose, and it works a bit differently. While user data governance is all about data exposure, like when someone sends sensitive information in an email or shares a document, Endpoint Data Governance is focused on data possession. In other words, it checks what kind of sensitive data is actually sitting on your users' devices. We're looking for the same types of compliance-related data, like health information, personal and private data, financial or credit card information. But there are a few important differences. First off, we're not scanning for things like passwords, source code, certificates, or custom keywords, because let's be real, a lot of that kind of proprietary data is expected to live on a company laptop. That's why we encrypt those drives in the first place. Still, for compliance or insurance purposes, you might need to prove that your endpoints don't have specific types of sensitive data just sitting there unprotected. So with Endpoint Data Governance, you can run scheduled scans of your endpoints to check for those privacy and compliance data types. It's not real-time monitoring, it's intentional periodic scanning. For example, maybe your policy says you have to confirm every 14 days that no health data or financial data is present on any device. With Coro, you can absolutely set that up and document the results easily. So that's really the distinction here. User data governance means data leaving the environment. Endpoint data governance means data stored on the device. And having both gives you full visibility, whether data's on the move or just sitting still. Okay, so right alongside endpoint security and endpoint data governance, we've also got EDR, which stands for Endpoint Detection and Response. Now the big idea? EDR gives you visibility into potentially suspicious or risky activity happening across your endpoints. It's like your early warning system for weird or unexpected behavior. So what kind of things are we talking about? Well, it could be a login using credentials that seem off or out of place, someone running a strange or unauthorized software program, scheduled tasks being added or modified, registry keys being changed, or even odd USB activity that doesn't match a user's normal pattern. When something like that happens, Coro will generate a ticket. And when you open that ticket, you'll see the process associated with the activity. From there, when you click on that process to dive into the telemetry, basically a behind-the-scenes look at what that process is doing. And here's the cool part, not all processes are malicious, and that's okay. Sometimes it's just something unusual but harmless. But other times, you might notice a pattern, like a process that changed a bunch of registry keys and created a scheduled task to delete event logs. That might be someone trying to cover their tracks. In that case, you can flag the process and block it directly from the platform. Once it's blocked, it'll show up on your block list and Coro will prevent it from running again. So that's EDR in a nutshell, a powerful tool that gives you transparency and control over what's happening at the system level, so nothing sneaky slips through unnoticed. Alright, so that's EDR, and now let's touch on network security, which works a little differently from the other modules. You'll notice that network doesn't appear in the open ticket summary, and that's because it doesn't generate tickets like other modules. Instead, it acts more like a utility feature that's built into the Coro endpoint agent. What that means is, we've bundled in VPN and ZTNA capabilities directly into the same agent that's already handling things like antivirus, posture checks, and EDR. Here's what you can do with it. Use device labels to group machines and apply different network policies. Enable VPN in a few different configurations. Set up site-to-site tunnels to connect securely to on-prem or cloud resources. Even enable Zero Trust Network Access, ZTNA, to limit access to only what users truly need, kind of like a smart alternative to VPN. So instead of managing these tools separately, you've got network controls baked right into the endpoint experience, which makes setup and management a whole lot easier. Another module that doesn't generate tickets is Secure Web Gateway, which enables DNS filtering for devices in your network. From the Secure Web Gateway page, you can create allow lists and block lists to control access to specific domains, as well as to domain groups or categories. This way, you can block access to suspected malware sites or enforce company policies by restricting access to gambling sites or social networks. Bottom line, Coro's endpoint agent doesn't just protect devices and data, it helps you secure how those devices connect to the world too. Now let's briefly talk about mobile device management, or MDM. Like Network and Secure Web Gateway, this module doesn't generate tickets, so it doesn't show up at the top of the action board. But it's still a handy piece of the platform, especially if you're managing smartphones or tablets. With Coro's MDM, you can enroll corporate mobile devices, create work profiles to separate business and personal use, remote wipe a device if it's lost, stolen, or compromised, set up an allow list of approved apps so users can only install what's been cleared. It's a light but effective way to extend your protection to mobile devices, making sure they're secure, managed, and compliant with company policy. Lastly, security awareness training. This one's all about closing the human security gap. It helps your team recognize phishing attempts and risky behavior through short training courses and realistic phishing simulation emails like reset your password or your package is waiting. Each protected user is automatically enrolled in a 12-month learning plan, starting with a quick intro series, followed by one short course and one phishing simulation per month. It's a simple, powerful way to reduce risk and build smarter habits across your team. Thanks for watching. That's a quick overview of Coro and all available modules. Check out our other tutorials for deeper dives and tips. See you in the next one.